Hi, it's Annie Charlotte here, and this is my grandson Finn, and we are going to bake bread today. I really just recently got this down pat. I have a recipe that's very easy. I think you'll enjoy making it too, and that's why I'm sharing it on YouTube. So stay tuned and we will get right into it. I want to show you how I make bread, and what I did first was I got 13 ounces of warm water. It should be filtered, but you can do it out of your tap if that's what you have. And I put it in a small bowl here. And so anyhow, I mix 2 tablespoons of yeast, and I think that would be about 1 packet if you buy your yeast that way, and 2 tablespoons of sugar. Then I put it to the back of my stove and I cover it and just let it rise from anytime from, it could take 10 minutes, it could take a half hour, but you just let it get bubbly. And what I kind of look for is for it to look like pond scum. Not that it's green, it'll still be brown and tan, but do you see how it's bubbling there already? That's a really good sign that the yeast is alive. You don't want the water too hot. Just lukewarm water is fine. And yeah, that's the first step. Okay, here's my pond scum. Do you see what I mean? It has just bubbled way up. It even got on the cover that I have on it, and that tells me that it is alive and it is ready to go to make bread. So I'm moving on to step 2. For the next step, I am going to add 4 cups of flour, and today I'm using white flour because that's what I have, but you could use wheat flour or another type of flour, perhaps gluten-free flour, but I'm using what I have. And then I'm using 2 teaspoons of salt and 2 teaspoons of oil. And I am going to stir these together in my KitchenAid. If you don't have a KitchenAid, you can just do it by hand and then knead it a little bit on a floured counter. So can you see that it is getting elastic-y, I want to say. The texture is changing from being real gummy and loose to being, yes, just, I guess elastic is the only way I can describe it. Then I oil a bowl or a pan. I like to do it in my Cuisinart bowl. So I just oil the sides, oil the bottom, and in just a minute I'm going to be transferring this mixture over there, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, here's my dough, and it is in an oiled pan or bowl, and I put it to the back of my oven. Sorry about that. And so here it is covered in its nice little cozy place, and I'm going to forget about it and set my timer for 2 hours right now and just go about my day, do my wash and whatever else I need to do, and then come back to it in 2 hours and we'll take a look at it then. All right, it's been 2 hours and my dough has definitely risen to be double in size, I would say. The yeast is definitely active, and I have my pan all sprayed or greased or whatever you do. And now I am going to work on just kneading it a little bit on a floured board. Okay, so I sprinkled some flour on my counter here, and I took the dough out of the bowl that it was rising in. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just knead it, just fold it in from side to side, just for a few minutes. It's not rocket science. It's, I always had a fear of using yeast and making bread, even though I cooked a lot. But it seemed like I always made the water too hot and killed the yeast. So I've kind of gotten this one down to a science where it's pretty easy for me to make bread. So, are you helping me here, Finn? Okay, so my one grandson is actually cameraman right now, and it looks like Finn here is helping me, right? Okay, so anyhow, Kellen, you want to focus in on the dough? Yeah, not me. Okay, and what I'm doing. So, pretty much all the flour that I put down on the counter here, and I just kind of covered a little circle of space, has gotten incorporated into, maybe move back a little bit, but into the dough, and it is not sticky. It's kind of more like Play-Doh or consistency, I would say.
Kind of like edible Play-Doh?
Yeah, edible Play-Doh. It'll be better when it's cooked though, right? Okay, and it's definitely elasticy, and it's not sticking to my hands really. And so you're not going to want to add too much flour, or your bread will be kind of dry. You don't want to not add enough in and have it be too sticky, or it'll, I don't know, not be light and fluffy. So, okay, just want kind of a happy medium. And there, can you tell that it's alive? Yep. All right, so now I am going to kind of get a nice,
One piece.
what? I don't know what that is. Okay, you don't want a piece yet. You can have a piece later when it's cooked, okay? All right, so there, that looks pretty, right? I'm gonna pop it in the pan and just kind of spread it out. It's gonna spread itself out because it is active, right? So I'm going to cover it again, last time, and set my timer, put it in my warm spot, set my timer for an hour, and then I will be ready to bake it. All right, so the bread is done. It baked for 40 minutes at 400 degrees, and I never second guess it. I just take it out right away at 40 minutes and pop it right out of the pan and let it cool, and it turns out great every time. So there you go. I hope you enjoy making this and have success with baking bread too.